He's a really good kicker.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. Mike Amos from Zoom Television in Grayton Beach, Florida. How you doing? Can you hear us this morning? I don't believe he can hear us. But of course, exactly. We're on the air. Good to hear from you this morning. Bill Rice Jr. is with us this morning, and we're coming to you live from our studios on Troy Cablevision on South 39th Street in Troy, Alabama. Of course, on Facebook across the nation, across the world on Facebook Live this morning from Troy, Alabama. Of course, Rice, how's everything going, my friend?
Everything's going fine. It's the first day of September, Mike. When you think of September, you think of football. So I'm ready for August to be out of here with those 98-degree temperatures.
I know what I was thinking about yesterday. I was getting some yard work done, and I was saying to myself, now hopefully back here, this is I won't have to mow it again. That you start getting colder nights, so you won't have to mow grass.
You know who mows my front yard about every week? Dwayne Webb.
Your next door neighbor.
He
doesn't want his yard to look trashy.
Well, that's probably part of it. But he and Connie are two of the nicest people in Troy.
They really are.
And I cut the backyard with my little push mower, but he's got a real nice mower, and he's doing his big yard, and he does my front yard in about 5 minutes. But I sure do appreciate it.
He's got a big yard. It takes him a while, I'm sure.
All half a day. And
Mike, tell us about what's going on in Grayton Beach, Florida. Hey, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Can you hear us? Evidently, you can't hear us from Grayton Beach this morning on Zoom Television. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about, and of course, one thing is college football just around the corner, and high school football.
Well, I got something. I was talking off the air about the player of the week for Charles Henderson is the Holly kid. I can't remember his first name. The field goal kicker and punter. He kicked 2 field goals and had 3 punts for about a 45-yard average in the game against Catholic. I think he's a sophomore, so he has a great future as a punter and a place kicker. But the backstory on him, he's from Pike Road. He commutes to Troy every day to go to Charles Henderson. His older sister just graduated and did the same thing. And the reason they commute from Pike Road is they got to know my wife when she was a teacher at Pike Road, and they really weren't happy with that radical education program they had up there in Pike Road, so they commuted from Pike Road to Troy. So our gain right there, but congratulations to Mr. Holly for being the player of the week.
And of course, the Dothan Eagle, look here, Keith is back on the field. We didn't know this, but Providence Christian coach Kenny Keith, former Charles Henderson High School football player, utilized FaceTime to watch games during a 2-week quarantine away from the team. So coach is quarantined after family members had COVID-19, and he is back on the field. And boy, he was back on in a big way. They scored 70 points this week.
Well, I'm happy it all turned out well. I heard a similar story. I think it was the coach of St. Paul, or maybe Coach Blackman that used to play at Troy. He had to sit out for 2 weeks, and
yeah, exactly. I got you.
He said when he was set out for, he did meetings by Zoom, and then he would actually watch practices, Mike, in his car. He would drive up to the side of the field, and he would be inside his car. So he couldn't have been too sick because he was still doing all the coaching stuff, but just not from the field.
Mike, good morning to you from Grayton Beach. Are you loud and clear?
I don't know. I'm on my cell phone. I'll try to come through as best I can.
I tell you what, you sound real good on your cell phone.
Who are you talking about? Kenny Keith?
Yeah, talking about Kenny Keith, went through the
Isolation.
quarantine, was
Yeah.
quarantined, for 10 days, and now he's back.
I read that article yesterday.
I tell you, that's when your coach gets quarantined, you know something's wrong because he probably had communicated with everybody.
Well, that's true
Yeah,
too.
I didn't recognize Coach Keith in the paper. He was bald-headed.
I know it. Well, a lot of us are getting bald-headed. Oh, but of course, Mike Amos, what's going on down at the beach? Anything?
It's beautiful down there right now. I mean, it's supposed to be pretty for the next 6 days. It's supposed to be sunny. Of course, we had so much rain for at least a week and a half, it seemed like. But anybody coming out for Labor Day weekend, looks like it's going to be really nice.
I was looking for the high school schedules this week. You don't know who's playing who now in high school football. Hopefully, you can give us some information on that later on today, so we can get ready for another big weekend of high school football. But right now, things are sort of slow. Goshen and Pike County, do they start this week, or do they got to wait another week? I want to think they got to wait another week, don't they?
I thought Forrest said Goshen plays this weekend, but Pike County doesn't play.
All right, Goshen does play, and Pike County doesn't
What
play.
was the?
Charles Henderson is still playing that game on Thursday night? I mean, what's the point? I mean, it seemed like they just played on Friday. If the Law Monroe game got canceled.
I made that point to my wife. I said, "Did you watch the show?" Michael made a great point. Now that the Troy Law Monroe game is canceled, there's no reason to play the Charles Henderson game on Thursday night. So, I mean, it would have more fans if it was played on Friday night. It seems like it'd be a simple thing to do to tell everybody games on Friday night, but for as far as I know, for now, it's still Thursday night.
Well, we'll look at it. Something that we've got now that is really good is Visions. And Visions came out and went out to every local home in town, and it's got all kinds of good information, especially on phone numbers for businesses and and other interests. Like if I wanted to call a pharmacy, it says Bird Drugs, 81 Court Square, and the telephone number is 566-0101. And then of course, if you want Senco Drugs, you can call them at 566-2610. So
that's a great resource for people who are in sales.
I would grab a hold of this because it really tells you. Piggly Wiggly, another one of our sponsors, 770-7444. You can ask them, see what's on sale at the meat counter or the produce counter. Of course,
we had some Piggly Wiggly camp stew the other night for supper. It's fantastic. They make the camp stew for you.
Oh yeah, they sure do. And those casseroles are good. I eat those casseroles a lot.
We've had those too, yeah.
And then the pizza and the spaghetti. I love that.
You know what I did I had a tradition last college football season. I would get some hot dogs and chili dogs prepared by Piggly Wiggly Cafe and have those on football Saturday for lunch.
Oh yeah, it sounds good, man. I noticed that they have ham, and when they have ham in that department, I bought it, and I bet I eat out of that ham 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I love a good ham sandwich.
Well, tell us how you cook your corn on the cob again.
Well, it's the easiest thing in the world. All you do is you take 1 ear corn, you leave it in the what do you call it?
I don't know, the green stuff. The green.
What do you call it? But it's his name.
It's called the shuck.
The shuck. Yeah, you leave it in the shuck. You put it in the microwave for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, and then you take it out. It's sort of steamy hot. You put it on the counter and let it sit maybe another minute, and then shuck it. The shuck comes right off. Then you put it on the plate with a lot of butter and a lot of pepper. That is a delicious.
You don't put salt on your corn on the cob?
No, I don't necessarily have to. I like.
Don't most people put salt on their corn?
I like the pepper and the.
I'm just wondering. I've always put salt on it, but maybe everybody doesn't put salt on it.
Oh yeah, now it wouldn't hurt it to put a little bit on it, but it tastes real good without salt.
Okay.
To tell the truth, and of course, you take salt and pepper. I like salt on my watermelon. Do you like that?
I'm not a watermelon man.
You don't like watermelon?
I'll tell you, I'm not a watermelon man and a boiled peanuts man, which is funny because my father loved both of those, watermelon and boiled peanuts, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm not a catfish person either.
You're not. You don't like catfish?
But,
oh, man.
I like a ribeye. I like camp stew. I like Crow's chicken nuggets.
The Luverne starts the world famous peanut ball. I'm glad you told us, and that's going on in Luverne. I know people that drive over from Troy and buy a bunch of peanuts from them. And if somebody's listening from Luverne, give us a call and tell us about it. That's the largest peanut ball in the world is located in Luverne, Alabama. If you love boiled peanuts, that's where you want to go and get them. And boiled peanuts freeze real good too. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
But my wife loves them too. Getting back to corn, though, I mean, popcorn is corn, right? Well, everybody puts salt on popcorn, right? I mean, could you eat popcorn without salt? Ugh. Do you put salt on your popcorn?
Well, it'd be better for you without salt.
I know it, but
but somebody told me the other day that he heard me say that I like cantaloupe with pepper. I like cantaloupe with pepper. Do you do that?
No, but I've heard of people that do.
Yeah. With pepper instead of salt, and I enjoy that. And a lot of people do different things.
Now let me ask: Do you like your ketchup cold or room temperature?
It doesn't really matter. I probably would prefer it cold.
I prefer it room temperature. I mean,
really?
Some people that's a big source of debate.
You don't put it in the refrigerator then?
No. I don't want cold ketchup with my hot French fries.
We're talking to a guy that doesn't like tomatoes, and that a shame?
Yeah, but I like a lot of tomato sauce on pizza, and I love pastas and Italian. I mean, Italian's probably my favorite food. So I actually eat tomatoes. I have to have them
with something else, right? I'm the same way. I will not eat a tomato, but I'll put one on a Whopper sandwich and eat it with, and I'll eat it in spaghetti, but I don't want to eat just the tomato.
I actually like fried green tomatoes, but I love all kinds of, pastas and stuff like that. So, I know those are tomatoes, and I love all kinds of salsa. Just got to be really thin. I don't want to taste the tomato.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention two more of our sponsors this morning that we appreciate. Jean's Flowers and Gifts on South Frontage Street, and they've been in business a long time. And, of course, they can send flowers all over the world for you. Today, all you need to do is call them at 566-2480, 566-2480, and Jean's Flowers is ready to ship flowers or gifts around the world.
That was started by the Dykes family, and I gave my daughter Maggie some history on the Dykes family. Her librarian at Troy Elementary School is Belinda Dykes Kitchens. Yeah.
And they owned it at one time, but they were not the first owner.
Well, okay. Well, see, when I moved to Troy, they were, but they weren't.
Flowers with Jean Hokup.
All right.
Jean Hokup, and her husband ran Jean's Flowers on Madison Avenue for many years.
So the Dykes bought it from them?
That's right, they sure did.
And
Mr. Dykes was a great Trojan and great Trojan supporter.
Well, Maggie said, my librarian knows you, Bill. And I said, yes, we went to high school together. She's a couple years older than me. Then I gave her the Dykes family history, and I said, Neil, her brother, was in my class. Last I heard, Neil's a big accountant in New York City. But while I was here, it was the Dykes family that had Jean's Flowers, and now it's gone to another great Troy family.
Mike, see if you can get us some high school schedules to find out who's playing this weekend. Now remember, Visions again is a wonderful magazine.
LSU's now lost 3 defensive linemen to either transfer or opt out, the guys that were going to possibly start. So LSU is losing players left and right.
I want to say that right back at you because I was looking at it. I want to mention also that the Auburn running back has transferred Booby Whitlow has transferred to Western Illinois, of all places.
Yeah, what a weird place to transfer.
You know, he rushed for 763 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. That wasn't bad. What do you got to do?
I wonder why Chip Lindsey didn't try to pick him up.
I don't know. I think Troy's backs might be better than he is. Troy's got 4 real good running backs.
Man, I don't know. That Booby Whitlow is pretty good.
Yeah. And a big bag, too. And, of course, he was from Lafayette, powered Lafayette to first undefeated regular season in history of that school, rolling up 2,292 yards passing yardage and as a quarterback. Can you believe that?
Well, LSU was decimated by graduation in the NFL draft last year. I think I heard they had 15 players drafted, maybe 14. And then now they've lost their best receiver, who might be the best receiver in America. And Michael tells us they've lost these defensive linemen. That for them to be successful with a new quarterback, new passing game coordinator, new defensive coordinator, that would be an awesome statement if they come back after all those losses and compete for a national championship again.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see how they can. I don't see how they can do it.
Yeah, exactly right.
That looks good.
But I read an article yesterday that Baldwin County could come to forfeit the next 2 games due to Coach Rawls and his wife. I think both having COVID-19.
Oh, me. So what's going to happen? They just had to forfeit those games?
Yeah, they're going to have to forfeit those games.
Do you got to forfeit them, or are they just like never play? There's a difference, you know.
They say they got to forfeit. They can't make them up.
Oh, me.
I mean, they count as a loss and a win for the other team.
Yeah, it says the Tigers will start the season now 0-3, 0-2 in the Class 6A Region 1.
Oh, that's a forfeit.
You know,
well, that doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, I was looking at this magazine. It's got great pictures and great stories. A lot of Troy University color in here, the cheerleaders and T. Roy, and then it shows right here the ATO fraternity. We didn't cover this very much when they walked to Panama City during the spring break. They've done that now for, gosh, I want to say 10 years or more. But the thing about it, they've got a bunch of kids that walked. I think it was something like 40-something. But, is that good for their fraternity or not? I mean, like, if I pledge that fraternity, I've got to walk 130 miles. You know what I mean? I mean, and they can't get around it. John, hey, you pledged this semester. We want you to walk.
Did they camp out at night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they camp out.
Well, it's an experience you'll remember the rest of your life.
It is, and some of these guys have done it all 4 years they've been here.
If I was young, I would go for it just for the adventure. Yeah.
It seems like every time I ride down there, I see them on the way back. Good morning, you on Today in L.A. How you doing?
I was just calling back. I'm trying to look at stuff on my phone and hit a button.
Yeah. Of course, very good information in here on a lot of local businesses, and I recommend this for anybody, especially people that deal with local businesses here in town.
I'm gonna show you. I will show you what I was looking at.
Okay.
The back cover is a pretty ad for the city of Troy.
Yeah.
And I love the picture of our Troy water tower on Highway 231 shot through the displayed flags and Bicentennial Park.
That's pretty, yeah.
You know the first person to do that picture? Me. When I had the Troy Citizen, I had a monthly magazine I did from time to time called Pikes Peak. And I wanted pretty art on the cover. And it wasn't long after they had built that water tower that I looked, and they had the flags out on the patriotic holiday. I said, there's your picture. Yeah. And so I did a similar picture and put it on the front cover. And I've noticed since then that a lot of people have copied my idea. So
no question about it. That was made a very good background. No question.
You just kind of shoot it through the foreground of all the American flags.
Exactly, and of course, whoever you want a phone number for, this is perfect, no question. I'm looking for Goshen High School's number so I could chat with Bart Snyder this morning, and we'll be talking to him in just a few moments. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A. I don't know if we're on or not.
No, we're still on.
Yeah, we're still on right here.
Nice.
Of course, Gene Flowers is one of our sponsors. We appreciate them very much.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and we'll go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by James Flowers on South Grundy Street right in Troy. I want to also mention Bird Drugs. Of course, they're open right now serving breakfast like very few people are. They're delicious sausage and bacon. Boy, you smell that aroma and you can't help but go in there and get something to eat.
I know it. I love the people there are so friendly, and the atmosphere, and you always see friends that come in and have some great conversations while you eat.
In fact, right now, of course, they're serving breakfast, but then they'll serve lunch, and if you want to call up and get your order to go or sit in, there's not near as many spaces to sit as it was, but they are allowing people to come in and eat. We've eaten breakfast there a few times, and it's good as ever. And again, locally, I would think it's one of the best places to eat breakfast anywhere around. Of course, I want to mention also Sister's Restaurant, and Sister's is open Monday through Friday, and of course they don't have the buffet, but hey, listen, their meat and three is as good as any you'll find anywhere. They're open at 11 o'clock till they'll serve through 2 o'clock, and the food is still the same great food that it's always been at Sister's Restaurant on Highway 231 South.
Yeah, boy, I want to go.
Alabama and Southern Miss playing Thursday night live on ESPN. It'll be the first game for 1A schools to play. Right now, that line is 15 Southern Miss to beat South Alabama in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
I would have to think South Alabama would play them pretty tough. They've had all year to get ready for them.
I would think so too, and we're going to find out in a hurry. This is a big win. This would be a big win for him. In fact, this would be a signature win for him, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. It'd be a huge win for him.
Yeah.
I read from your football magazine, Mike, or heard that I think Southern Miss had their leading receiver has opted out. They're going to be without but their quarterback comes back, and he completed 70% of his passes last year, and I think he's a senior or a redshirt senior.
Yeah.
So Southern Miss has got as Troy fans remember, has got a real good quarterback.
Yeah. Mike, is he from
games,
Alabama?
The games you got this week, you've got on Saturday, Eastern Kentucky, who Troy will play, will be at Marshall. That game will be on ESPN. You've got Middle Tennessee State, who Troy will play, will be against Army on CBS Sports. That's not the normal CBS. Look at this exposure for Texas State. SMU at Texas State on ESPN at 3:30. Houston Baptist playing North Texas at 6:30. Arkansas State in Memphis live on ESPN. Prime time, 7 o'clock Saturday night.
Wow.
Are they playing at Memphis? Or they playing
Arkansas
at Memphis?
State of the Sun Belt owns the ESPN mothership station.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Then you'll have ESPN 3, Stephen F. Austin against Utah. And then on Monday night, this will be a treat. You'll have BYU against Navy.
Okay, versus Navy. At Navy, is that right?
Yeah, and that's on ESPN as well.
Yeah. Not many games,
So
but
Got a
we
few.
got some college football to watch, though.
yeah. You know, Arkansas State's playing at Memphis. I tell you, Arkansas State's a pretty good football team. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't play them real tough here.
I wonder who their quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be the kid that transferred from Alabama or the guy that got hurt last year?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, it's either going to be Bonner or Hatcher. I'm not sure. Logan Bonner was really good, too, before he got hurt.
What's the line on it? Do you know? Does it show?
Yeah, let me pull that up. Memphis is 20 points right now. 20
Oh,
points.
I think I'd take Arkansas State in that game. I really do.
I think so too, Mike. Memphis has got
Memphis is scoring a lot of points, though.
I know
they
it.
have a great running back that rushed for 1,400 yards last year, and he is just opted out. So
Oh,
Memphis's star stud tailback, I
Exactly.
remember him from last year. He was really good.
Yeah, he had three family members died of COVID-19.
Who did that? The guy that
The Memphis running back.
bless his heart, man. 3 family members. I tell you what, we better take it serious. I promise you, we better take it serious.
Well, we'll know.
BYU's a 1-point favorite at Navy. That's surprising to me. I figured Navy would be favored at home.
What you mean? Army is Navy just a 1-point favorite?
No,
No, BYU's a 1-point favorite
Oh,
at
okay,
Navy.
yeah, at Navy, yeah. Tell you what, you don't know what you're gonna run into with Navy, but they've had I reckon they've had several weeks to prepare for Navy. Where these
we'll know
schedules
about
changing.
SEC football by what happens, and if these college games go off with no big deal or just a couple of positive cases, that bodes well for the rest of the games. But then if you have one of these games and the next Monday you hear that 32 Navy players test positive, that might spell the end of college football if something like that happens.
It could hurt, no question.
SMU and Richard McBride, the Troy product, are 21-point favorites against Texas State.
Good, 21-point favorite.
Don't you think Richard McBride will be poised for a really good season? Because he didn't have hardly any time to prepare last year. They called him and said, "Yeah, we'll accept you. You can play." After the season had already started, I think.
Mike, wouldn't you think that Texas State would play them fairly tough? But what would you think?
I don't know. All this does is make me heartbroken that Lawman Road didn't keep their players safe and had so many positive tests for COVID-19, because you have to think the Troy Law Monroe game would have been on.
Yeah, we would have been on a major network. You're right.
I mean, Texas State out of the Sun Belt, they're on ESPN.
Yeah.
You got Arkansas State playing prime time on ESPN. Troy Law Monroe definitely would have been. That was a conference game.
Sure would have.
Yeah.
It was a schedule for 6 o'clock.
Bad break.
And of course that game had been postponed.
I guarantee that would have been on ESPN too, at least.
Yeah, no question. Hopefully the BYU Troy game will be televised. It's going to be.
You run into all the big boys playing that day. That's the sad thing. You might see Troy Middle Tennessee State on TV on the 19th.
Yeah.
I bet you will.
So now, Alabama and Auburn are still 2 or 3 weeks away, or 3 weeks away. They're scheduled to go on September the 26th when the SEC starts. Is that right?
Let's talk about Auburn. They lose their leading rusher. Who's the man now after Whitlow is transferring?
They got DJ Williams has been really good for a while. He's a really good, strong running back. He had a big game against LSU last year. I would imagine he'll be the starter. They had the Shivers kid that ran through Xavier McKinney for the touchdown late against Alabama. But he's already an Auburn legend when he knocked the Alabama guy's helmet off to score the winning touchdown. They got the kid out of Mountain Brook, Harold Joyner. They've got some decent running backs. I want to say they signed a freshman that's supposed to be really good as well.
I'm sure they'll have some players. Running backs are not that hard to find. There's a lot of good running backs out there,
Did you see where they?
Got the best I've ever seen this year.
Did y'all see where Jacksonville released Fournette, the highly touted second overall pick in the NFL draft? I think from just a couple of years ago, that was all world at LSU or highly touted. And they released him, and they said they couldn't find anybody that was interested in the trade. So you talk about going from the top to the bottom in a hurry. He's out of football for now.
I think there's some attitude issues there. He's always been in the doghouse ever since he's been there.
Yeah, Alabama got the better part of the deal when they got Derrick Henry instead of him. I think they were in the same recruiting class.
No question about it.
Of course, Fournette's made millions of dollars. Hopefully, he saved it.
Yeah. The running backs, they can just fall off a cliff in a hurry, can't they? I mean, remember Eddie Lacy was doing great for a couple of years? Then boom.
Packers, yeah.
Then he's out of football. Even Sean Alexander was the number one player in the NFL, and then he can't even make a team. I guess you hit a certain point on those legs, and you get so many carries, and you can't do it. And Mike's right. I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen. They'll find some 22-year-old that doesn't have as many carries, and he'll be just as good.
I was looking.
Yeah, Sean Alexander was MVP of the whole league, rushed for 1,900 yards, and was NFL MVP. And Seattle's coach, I remember at the time, was Mike Holmgren, and he's like, I don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. Was just totally against it. But the owner came in and signed him to a long-term deal, and he made millions and millions of dollars. And after that, I think Sean Alexander maybe rushed for 1,000 yards the rest of his career. But once you get that money, man, you're set.
You got to get that second contract, and Derrick Henry just got his second contract, so that's what.
Bill's exactly right. Second contract is everything to an NFL player.
It sets you up for life, probably, if you take.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the Pike County schools, and Pike Liberal Arts has got a game this weekend against Hooper Academy. Is that game played at Pike, or do y'all know?
I think so.
And
it doesn't matter where that game's played. It's going to be enough wherever it is.
I know it's going to be a buzz.
I have been to Hooper Academy a couple of times. I bet you have too, Mike.
Yeah, I have over the years. Charles Henderson.
You should referee a lot of basketball games there.
Yeah. Charles Henderson goes up against Greenville, and I want to say that game's in Troy. Is that right?
Yeah, Thursday night.
Yeah, we already talked about it. They had it on Thursday night because of the Troy Law Monroe game, and we're trying to figure out why they didn't move it back to Friday night.
Well, I could see where they might enjoy playing on Thursday night, even though it's a big rivalry game. I would think that a lot of people would go if they get an opportunity. Again, I still don't understand how they do it. I mean, if you want to go to the game, it seems like you'd be able to go to the game.
I know.
I tell you, Brian McClendon is an amazing story. He was a golfer in college. I think at maybe Jack State and Troy. And then he never played football that I know of growing up in high school. And has become a really good coach at Greenville High School. His dad is the mayor of Greenville. Isn't that correct,
That's
Dad?
right. And both his dad and his mother went under the COVID-19 quarantine, and they're been out several weeks now. But, people wonder, how did he get that job? Well, I'll tell you how he got the job. His daddy's the mayor of Greenville. But no, he was assistant coach. He's a good young coach, and he wins. He wins, and that's what the key is. And Greenville is a football town. They love their football, and
they got a really nice indoor practice facility, 50-yard practice facility.
yeah, oh yeah, they got a beautiful new school too. You know, Greenville's a nice town. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
I got a lot of friends in Greenville, and you know, they got golf galore. You know, you know, as good as their golf course is at
Robert Trent Jones.
Robert Trent Jones golf course is considered one of the best in the country.
It's one of the prettiest.
But the local folks
don't play
it. Don't play it. They stay at the Greenville Country Club, which is a very nice 9-hole course.
That course, it has hardly any play. I don't know how they keep it open, but I'm glad they do, because it's a beautiful course. I have played it many times and love it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, most people do.
We're big fans of Dave's House of Turkey. We always stop there every time we go through.
Well, I'll tell you this too about golf. Going to Greenville, you know, most people fly into Montgomery and will play the Trent Jones there in Montgomery or in Prattville, and then drive to to Greenville and play that, and then going down to Mobile.
Or you could go to Auburn.
Auburn, you're right.
Opelika, Auburn.
So it's full of
I have never played the one in Opelika, Auburn, but it must be really good, because they've had all kind of big pro tournaments there.
Oh yeah.
I played the one in Birmingham. It's tough.
Yeah, no question about it. What, you don't like the one in Birmingham?
Well, I'm just saying it's a tough course.
Oh yeah, no question about it.
Well, have y'all read the trend is for people to get out of big urban cities? It's happening. People are fleeing the New York cities and the Baltimores and the San Franciscos, and rural property is really in demand, from what I hear. But you know, a place like Troy, a place like Greenville, a place like Brundage, a place like Headland, I mean, the Chamber of Commerce folks and economic developers need to let these people that want to get out of these big cities know that, hey, we've got this land you want, we've got the safety you want, we've got the low cost of living you want, we've still got stores and restaurants. It's really a kind of a marketing opportunity for little rural towns. In Greenville, with that golf course and the highway going right through the town.
And like you said, they, you know, Cracker Barrel and all those folks. You know, anytime you get on an interstate like that, like Cracker Barrel, everybody says, why didn't we ever get a Cracker Barrel? Well, I think it has to be on an interstate.
Yeah, we're not on the interstate yet.
And
but, I mean, a good friend of mine tried to build a Cracker Barrel on 231, and at the time they wouldn't let him do it because they didn't think it was enough traffic.
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't know how much money.
It didn't happen.
I don't know how much money they spent on the site for this new shopping center that we got in Troy, but that is most unreal cost. You know, they've been held up by rain almost every day, but it is beautiful. If you ride by there now, they've knocked all those trees down, and it is a beautiful place. And I don't know how much it was. I'm just talking here, but I'd say it cost $1 million just for their site preparation.
Move all the dirt and everything.
Oh yeah, it's been unbelievable. And
but I mean, look at the school systems. You know, you're all talking about schools growing and people moving out to the country. Arrington, everybody wants to go to school at Arrington.
Yeah.
Tons of people.
Or Zion Chapel.
Goshen is hot. Goshen is hot.
Zion Chapel's, you know, 2A school bigger in Elba. Did you ever think Zion Chapel would be bigger in Elba?
Oh, I know it. You're right. Yeah.
Then you got Goshen's now a 3A school.
Yeah.
Rural is that's it. That's in.
Look at Pike Road. I mean, Pike Road's going to be playing a 6A, 7A school for us all said and done.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, it's really growing. We're gonna have their mayor on our show one day before long. He's an old buddy of mine. His daughter goes here to Troy, and he's been a big Troy supporter. In fact, he played football at Auburn when Bo Jackson was there, and I think he was the tailback listed behind Bo Jackson when he was at Auburn.
Well,
I thought Tim James was behind Bo Jackson.
No,
did he say that when he was running for governor?
He played at Auburn.
I think he played at Auburn, and he was a hard-nosed football player.
Does this guy know you're the mayor of Crow Hill? That you're a mayor as well?
Yeah. I think they kicked me out of that position a long time ago. I will tell you this, that the ice cream man comes to Crow Hill at 3 o'clock today.
Did he come yesterday? Did you say?
I wasn't there. But
we got a good ice cream truck.
We used to have a place from Andalusia come when I was a kid, and they kind of had like slushies, and it was really good. It's called Damien's.
yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
That was really good.
Exactly.
Stephanie Baker had a little campaign party right before the election, and the ice cream truck came to it, and all the kids in the neighborhood came. And I tell you, you got to eat those popsicles in a hurry, or they're going to melt on you unless you go inside. We were all eating them outside, and we couldn't eat them fast enough.
I've always
You know where our kids eat their popsicles? They eat them in the tub. That's where we give them to them.
Good smart move.
Do you really?
I'm dead serious. That's where they eat their
Why?
popsicles.
So they won't make a mess or what?
Exactly.
Of course, I want to mention the Troy Arts Council. One of the outstanding components of our town here, and of course, very well known. Troy is an artsy town.
Can I mention an art?
Call 670-2288.
I'll talk about Troy is an artsy town. I want to brag about an artist that we've got from Troy that has really come a long way. Nancy Murphy, Tom and Susan's daughter.
Yeah.
She's married now, so her last name is no longer Murphy. But she is one of the better watercolor and portrait artists that you'll see anywhere.
Yeah.
I saw her yesterday. She made a post complimenting my friend Ian Stewart. Ian is a friend of mine from Montgomery who is one of the best watercolor artists in America. He did the cityscape painting of Montgomery and Auburn that I marketed with him. And he was, and of all people, Nancy was bragging about an Ian Stewart painting. It was the painting of the dam in Tallahassee, Alabama. A beautiful painting Ian did. But I've looked at Nancy's work, and I mean, she is just as good as anybody. You know, just grew up here in Troy, and she's just slowly gotten better and better. And everybody, if you get a chance to look up Nancy Murphy artwork, do it.
At our beach house, my wife has got a lot of art. She loves her art, but her favorite painting was by Phoebe Porter. She's a great watercolor artist too. And another one is Joan Word. She's a very good, of course, there's just so much talent in Troy.
My mom did it. She did it all. And, she never considered herself that good, but most people thought, Marshall, you're really good.
Well, I tell you what, you're exactly right. A lot of people have her art.
My favorite painting is Doug Hawkins' Kick 6, which is one of the worst paintings I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
He had the primitive style,
Yeah.
But Mom would do sometimes in oil, and then sometimes she'd go through her watercolor phase, and then she'd do pen and ink drawings. But I always liked the fact that Mom could do it all. She could do all of them.
Sure, and of course, very talented.
I guess most artists, if you've got it, you got it, and they can do all the genres.
Of course,
apparently, every time my sister comes down from Birmingham, she grabs a couple pieces of my mom's artwork. That's right. Birmingham, I've been hearing about.
And she's coming down. Smart. And she's coming down this weekend. I got to watch her.
Yeah, a lot of Moe's teas are missing, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got a few of them too. I noticed too.
Yeah, I don't have near the Moe's teas that Camille has.
Original art will last a lifetime. I've sold and marketed artwork, but that was my pitch: is you buy a nice piece of art and get it framed nicely. Go ahead and bite the bullet and spend the money on a nice frame, and you got something that's going to last. It's going to last you the rest of your life, and then it's going to be passed down to your children.
A lot of men here in town have gone through Troy, Alabama, and have played football either at Charles Henderson or Pike Liberal Arts. One of Charles Henderson's all-time best linemen was named Herbie Hastings. Did you know that?
I've always heard that.
Hastings, Shipman, and Wiggins. And Herbie was an outstanding guard for some good Charles Henderson teams. Just wanted you to know that he was a part of a heck of a football program.
Somebody.
How much did Herbie weigh? Was he tiny?
Well, no, he weighed about 200 pounds, and he was strong as an ox.
Yeah, he lifted weights real good.
Really?
Yeah, he was strong.
I've
he might have weighed more than that.
I've talked a lot about football players from my era, And one I've never mentioned is from right here in Troy that was really good, developed himself into a very good player is Todd Floyd, you know, who's in the concrete, his daddy had Floyd Construction.
Yeah.
And Todd was an undersized fellow that was under the tutelage of Jay Jeffcoat. And you say, oh, that guy's never going to be an offensive lineman. Well, he kept working at it and working at it and working at it, and by the time he was a senior, he was a very good offensive lineman.
Jay Jeffcoat was probably one of the best offensive line coaches in the country.
David Starlin was another really good offensive lineman that was a great offensive lineman for the Jay Jeffcoat.
Of course, he's with
Sales Insurance.
Sales Insurance with.
He was our starting guard, and he was really the most dominant blocker on the offensive line.
Alpha.
I'm trying to think, when Jeffcoat left Charles Henderson, who got the head job? Bobby Lee?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Bobby Lee got it.
But so Bobby Lee got the job, and then Lee, I guess, didn't. I guess he got fired. But then they brought in Fulkerson, and then.
No, I don't think Lee got fired. I think he became a principal. You know, he left coaching and became the principal of Charles Henderson High School.
Well, he did.
Well, I remember he was assistant principal at one time. I never knew he was actually.
Yeah, he was the principal at one time.
He became principal too. But yeah, I'll tell you, I know that because my little brother Bobby was a freshman when I was a senior. So then Coach Jeffcoat left after my senior year. Bobby Lee took over. That would have been Kyle Ingalls and Jim Williford and Stuart Vance's senior year. And they had a pretty good...
Bobby Lee was one of my favorite coaches of all time. He was an awesome guy.
They had a pretty good team. I think they were 7-3. Yeah. But then the next year, they really didn't have many athletes at all that were in that senior class. Steve Rice was in that senior... Lee Jim Wright was in that class. But there weren't many... This was a numbers game, and they didn't have a lot of numbers in that class. And that class might have won 1 or 2 games, and that was Coach Lee's last year as a head football coach.
I tell you what, one of the finest.
I remember going to a game with Dad when I was really, I guess, young, and Jeffcoat was there with Eddie, and I want to say Eddie was starting at Robert E. Lee as a 10th grader, and Eddie came out there with his Letterman jacket on, had a Robert E. Lee Letterman jacket, and he was like hugging Morgan Ingram and all those guys he grew up with, and I guess that was Fulkerson's last year. And then after that, Jeffcoat got the Charles Henderson job again, and Eddie played his last 2 years at Charles Henderson.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember. Like, they were living in Montgomery. He was going to Robert E. Lee, and they were at a Charles Henderson game. I guess Lee played on Thursday nights back then. That's when all those great Lee teams with, you know, Fred Beasley and all those guys. But
I remember Eddie Jeffcoat. He hurt his knee, I think, his senior year or junior year. And
I tell you what, he was a very good football player. If he'd weighed 40 pounds more, he could have played at Alabama Auburn.
Yeah, he could have played college ball, at least Division II.
Well, if he hadn't got hurt, and if he'd weighed 40 more pounds too, I had lots to do with it.
Yeah,
well, he wasn't tall. He was only about 5'10".
Yeah.
But his technique and aggressiveness, he was a real football player.
Jay Jeffcoat was
he was the baddest dude on the field. There was no doubt about that in practice. Nobody wanted to mess with Eddie.
Well, I tell you what, he's a good football player, no question. And a lot of good football players have been through this town. I want to mention First Cahaba Bank today, located at 601 Trojan Parkway. And now you can see the bank very clearly from the 231 bypass. Beautiful location of First Cahaba Bank right here in Troy. And, of course, we appreciate them being a part of our show. Also, Max Credit Union today, and they're one of our strong local supporters. And they're located also on 231 South right here in Troy, Alabama. Call them at 215-4644. And they have all kinds of great deals on your mortgage or your automobile. Right now you can get great.
Oh yeah, you can get great rates for car loans.
That's right,
and for home loans and refinancing your home mortgage. I mean, interest rates are as low as they've been in my lifetime.
They've been around a long time, no question about it. Of course, Troy Bank and Trust Company has added a new addition, and that is First National Bank of Troy Brundage is now Troy Bank and Trust Company. And, of course, Jimmy Ramage and John Ramage, the president and CEO and board of trustees member of Troy First National Bank of Troy Brundage. They have merged with Troy Bank and Trust Company to make it $1 million bank, $1 billion, $1 billion bank located right here in Troy, Alabama, with 13 locations to choose from.
I'll tell you a story. I sold some stock the other day, and I was going to get it. I was thinking, well, you're going to mail me a check, and the girl I was talking to said, well, you know, we can wire it to your bank, and she walked me through how to do it, and I said, well, I've got a local bank, locally owned bank. It's not a big bank. She said, well, you probably can't do it. And I said, no, listen, this is $1 billion bank. I bet they can, and they could. The system worked fine.
Well, let's just say Troy Bank and Trust Company is one of the more respected local banks in not only America, but it's definitely in Alabama. It's one of the strongest local banks out there. Right?
It's a point of pride for Pike County, for sure.
Sure is, no question about
Always
it.
has been.
Well, Zion Chapel will play a home game against Abbeville, so that's who Zion Chapel plays this week.
Well, they're in trouble because Abbeville's got a good football team, and Zion Chapel better get ready. I rode by there yesterday, and their practice field, they took a old pasture and made it into a practice field. Beautiful.
Good for them.
Beautiful location. And of course, are they going to play that game in Abbeville or in?
I guess they're playing in Enterprise. That's where they're playing all their home games.
Okay. Well, I don't. That just doesn't go with me. They have a beautiful campus and a beautiful little stadium. Why they're doing this, I cannot understand. Why would you take the game away from where they?
You talk about a pretty little setting and a pretty little stadium. I think Sanford's got a beautiful little stadium, but Sanford's not playing football, are they?
Sanford
University in Birmingham?
No, they're not playing right now.
Southland Conference, not Southland, but Southern Conference is playing in the spring.
So I wonder if anybody can use. I mean, you got a perfectly good football stadium that somebody could use, right? I mean, a high school team.
Yeah. I would think.
Goshen's traveling to Trinity, Presbyterian, and Montgomery.
Yeah. Okay, they are traveling to Trinity. That'll be a good one. Trinity.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That's you talk about two schools that are kind of similar, I think.
Yeah.
You know, with the family values and.
You know who went to that school, don't you?
A lot of people went. I
The
know
Gaylords.
Yeah, they sure did.
And you know, I saw a picture. How many daughters does Wes Gaylord have?
He's got 4 daughters. They're all
gorgeous.
beautiful and blonde.
They sure are. They're beautiful.
One of
girls.
them is just got engaged. So
Isn't
congratulations.
Bo would have been so proud, wouldn't he?
That's Wes and Jenny that live in. They live in Vestavia or Mountain Brook.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other, Derek, is also in Birmingham.
He's also up there. And
he's in Mountain Brook, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe he's in Mountain Brook and Wes is in Vestavia.
They're both two good guys, I'll tell you that.
Wes's baby daughter, none of them were really into sports, but his youngest daughter goes to Mountain Brook, I think.
Yeah.
And she is a prodigy in basketball, a point guard. I've seen videotape of her, and she is a blur on the court. She's like all the Gaylords. She's not real tall, but it doesn't matter. She is so athletic and quick and shoots so well and passes so well. She'll be playing big-time college basketball somewhere.
She's that good.
She's that good, without a doubt. I mean, she's been playing at that high level since 8th grade.
She plays at Trinity, is that right?
No, she plays at Mountain Brook.
Oh, Mountain Brook. I'm sorry, Mountain Brook.
And she plays travel ball, and you know, she's.
Well, the quarterback at Mountain Brook has Troy connections. You know, you remember Al Gibbs, former mayor of Troy? Well, Al's not with us anymore, but his great grandfather was Al Gibbs, the mayor of Troy.
How about that?
He's the quarterback at Mountain Brook.
Yeah, he's 3-year starter. His name's Strother Gibbs.
Strother Gibbs.
Strother's son. Strother was an SAE at Troy.
Yeah, that's right. Strother's son.
You got Melinda Booth up there. She's a retired school teacher for Mountain Brook Schools. And then you've got Charles Cobb, lives in Mountain Brook. You got Camille Amos F. lives in Mountain Brook. Caroline Turner Ezel from Troy lives in Mountain Brook.
John Paul Musselman lives in Dr. John Paul Musman and Margaret live in Mountain Brook.
Well, I'll tell you, the most prominent one is
Daryl Crow.
Billy Hancock's son was playing at Mountain Brook. We sat with Larry.
That's right, yeah.
At Mountain Brook game.
Yeah,
who is
right.
the founder of Miller Gorey Construction?
He married a Troy girl, Miller Gorey.
Braswell Gorey. Yeah.
Probably one of the wealthiest people in the state of Alabama and America, and he's married to a Troy girl.
Yeah, married Pete Green's daughter, who's a huge Auburn fan.
Yeah, that's where they met at Auburn.
I know.
Nicest people.
Miller Gorey's a big Auburn guy too.
But his company has.
I was in a restaurant talking about Troy one night in Mountain Brook, and she interrupted my conversation and told me she was from Troy.
Yeah.
Miller Gorey's wife?
She let me, you know what? Right around the corner, Jack, let's see, I'm trying to think of who.
I'll tell you, Miller Gorey, Mom was real good friends with her growing up. She's 2 years older than Mom and Dad. So I guess that puts her class of 56, Troy High School.
Yeah.
And you remember the young lady from Mountain Brook that was killed in Bermuda? It was Aruba.
Yeah.
Her name escapes me at the moment, but she was on the news for a year, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But one of the clips they would always show of her, she's a beautiful girl in high school, was at a pool party in Mountain Brook, and the lady that was hosting that party was Miller Gorey's wife from right here in Troy.
Yeah.
And so you saw her, for like 3 seconds in that clip 1,000 times that year.
Well, another very well-to-do guy.
You got Baker Crow. His house took about 6 years to build in Mountain Brook.
Well, I didn't know that about Baker.
And Mr. Crow's brother.
I'm talking about Daryl Crow. That's right. Daryl Crow from Troy has one of the.
I've got a cousin named Baker Crow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Daryl, I've never seen his house in Mountain Brook, but his house at Lake Martin, besides Mr. Scroochie's, is the one that everybody wants to drive by and look at. It's beautiful.
How big is 20,000 square feet? That's pretty big, isn't it? Pretty big house, isn't it? 20,000 square feet.
Is that what Scroochie's was?
No, that's Daryl Crow.
That's a house in Birmingham.
Daryl Crow lives in right there in Mountain Brook. A lot of Troy people have done well in Birmingham.
Natalie Holloway.
Thank you, Natalie Holloway. So Natalie Holloway, when she graduated from high school, you have all these senior parties, and one of the a lot of ladies will go in and co-host their party, and so she went to one of these parties, and that's where. What's her name? Mike? That was married to Miller Gorey.
She was Pete Green. I don't know her first name.
I would know
it.
She was
Green from Troy. Pete
Couldn't
Green.
be a nicer lady.
Well, Johnny Green's daughter Bradford and Camille were best of friends at Auburn. They're both out games together.
That's right. Johnny Green grew up right here in Troy. You're right.
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Miller Gorey's family. He has got a couple of kids that are members of Augusta National.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything.
Well, Gorey and that construction company is one of the largest in the country.
I mean,
prior to that, one of the largest construction companies in America was Blunt.
Yeah, in Montgomery.
Blunt out of Montgomery, Alabama. He was a billionaire.
Yeah, they got another big construction company called Hoare Construction. They do a lot of big jobs out of Birmingham too.
It's ironic that Mr. Gorey, huge Auburn man, he's done all the stadium additions in Tuscaloosa. And now Bryant Denny was never a spectacular stadium, but now it's considered one of the most impressive stadiums anywhere, and that's because of Gorey Construction.
Mike, one of the chief accountants with one of the largest companies.
I mentioned Charles Cobb works. Yeah, he works for Drummond.
Yeah, Drummond and Drummond Coal Company was one of the leading companies in the country for a long time.
What about the Baczynskis?
He married Brooke Falk from Troy.
Yeah, married Brooke Falk from Troy, and he was from Troy too.
You're talking about prominent people from Troy. The Golden Flake family has a strong Troy connection.
Who is that?
Yeah,
the Baczynskis. They were big in the Golden Flake. And then the Liberty National Insurance.
That's right.
Sanford, the Sanford money was
used to
right
have-
here in Troy
Used
too.
to have their home, I want to say, was right across the street from the old Pike Theater. It was a beautiful, and then later on it was Liberty National building, which was beautiful. But
And then we've talked about Coach Bryant's wife being from Troy.
yeah,
You know
Roy.
Manley Johnson. We one of your good buddies, but he was the second in charge at the Federal Reserve of America, which is the most powerful organization in the world.
one of the nicest guys you'll ever find. I tell you, really a great guy.
The most famous person ever from Troy was written up in GQ magazine.
Wiley Sanders.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember that.
We want to mention Premier today. Of course, Premier's got a lot of deals going on right now, don't they, Dad?
They really do. Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. Remember, this Friday is the first. Well, I don't know if we'll be able to get enough college games, but we'll review some and pick some high school games. But it's going to be called the Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks Picks of the Week. Brought to you by Premier Dodge.
Thank goodness
Ram
that last
and-
week was
and
just a
Jeep
run through, an audition, trial run, because those games that I picked last week do not count. Everybody.
No
Dad,
question.
we got about 6 college games. It's better than nothing.
I know it's going to be. We're going to have a show, and we look forward to it. And
You ought to be able to do about 12 high school games and 6 college games.
yeah, it'll be fun. We'll look forward to it. And of course, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks right here in Troy. And boy, they got a huge sale going on right now. Their inventory sale, and you know they have great sales, and they talk about they'll beat anybody's price. Well, they'll beat anybody's price with the best selection of new and used cars you'll find anywhere. We're looking at this book here that's got all. I tell you what.
And you get a free Yeti cooler if you buy a car.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And of course, this Visions that was published by the Messenger, I believe, it was published by the Pike County Chamber of Commerce, put this together, and Whitney Conrad was one of the executive committee members, and she's a cousin of yours, Mike.
Yeah,
Donna Horn is the chairman of the.
Mountain Brook, the Mood Troy.
Our good friend Donna Horn is the chairman of the executive committee of the Pike County Chamber of Commerce. Of course, the president is Dana Sanders, and the vice president is Emily Aaron, and also the second vice chairman is Jeremy Henderson, Sandbuck Insurance. The third vice chairman is Jason Gregory, of course, from Premier
Good, yeah.
Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks right here in Troy. And the immediate past chairman is Jimmy Copeland, right here of Troy Cable. And they do a great job. The board of directors for the Pike County Chamber of Commerce is Megan Blair of KW Practice, Casey Browder, Neighborhood Bear, Matt Brown, Sanders Lead Company, Adam Carson, Lockheed Martin, Jennifer Garrett, Piggly Wiggly, Stacy Granning, Troy Publications, Pete Jordan, my buddy at Max Federal Credit Union, Brock Kelly is the Alabama Community College System, Chris McVeigh, First Cahaba Bank, Katie Moore, All In Credit Union, William Neese, Troy University, Katie Pugh of Sarah, Troy, John Barry Roberts of Lawrence Hardware, that's JB, and he's my buddy. If you've never been in that hardware store, it's like going in a museum.
No, I love
I mean,
it.
it's just a wonderful place.
Old-fashioned hardware
Right
store.
here on South Brundage Street in Troy, Mosley Industrial.
I used to hear JB play music all the time.
That's right, it's really good. Al Roden, Banks, Byright, Tracy Shaver of Town of Goshen, and Dana, of course, Dana Wilson with Troy University.
So thank you for supporting
That's
the
right.
Chamber of Commerce and being a member. I worked there many years ago as a membership director, and I know how much the Chamber does. I mean, they're the one organization that's full-time trying to promote our whole county. Businesses, bring in newcomers, bring in new businesses, make the quality of life better. But there's so many resources they have, and so many things they do for the community. So everybody who supported this magazine or gets an individual membership or a business membership, thank you.
This magazine alone is good. It's worth your price of
it's a great resource. They produce it every year, and I worked at the people would come in from everywhere, newcomers or people that wanted to do business in Pike County, and they want that magazine.
Yeah. Of course, you look at a lot of the events they're involved in, and boy, they do a great job. But like I said, just for the information in this magazine for local businesses, this is something you need to have, no question about it. So if you don't have one of these, drop by the chamber office on the corner of right there on the square in Troy, Alabama, and pick that up. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. It is 8:05.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers. Start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and we'll go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
Over in Alabama, didn't we?
I saw somebody
I
from.
can't remember. Back to our show brought to you by Little Caesars, and this is the best deal on food in this town. You can drive by and pull up and get a large pizza with hot and ready for $5.38. And I mean, it is a good pizza. It's if you're just riding down the road and say, what we're going to have for supper, what we're going to have for supper.
There you go.
How about this?
If you got kids, you're going to be the most popular man in the house.
And of course, and then if you want to get a double meat, or if you want to get an extra meat, it's just $1 more. They got large pizzas with everything on it, but the prices are very reasonable at Little Caesars, and we appreciate them very much.
You know, the second best deal is, if that's the best deal, is $12 golf at Brundage Country Club.
And that is probably one of the best deals going on. And of course, go out and see my good buddy Forrest Lee and play golf. $12 during the week, and on the weekends it's $15, which is very reasonable. And the greens are in great shape. And then, of course, if you rent a car, I want to say it's $12.
Yeah, I think he says $10.
$10 to rent a car.
So you split the cart with your playing partner. That's only $5.
That's right.
So you can play golf for $17. Where else can you do it?
You sure can.
In a car.
See what? We'll do it before long. We'll ride down there. Of course,
I wanted to ask Forrest Lee if you can drink cold beer out there.
No, I bet you can.
I would think so. Of course, I've been a long-time member of the Troy Country Club. I support it, but I also support this anywhere they allow anybody that walks up to play golf.
Yeah, it's common. It's private, but it's semi-private. I mean, they have different things for members, but anybody just wants to play golf, come on.
That's the unique thing about it. They provide a place for people in Pike County to play golf, and it's a good one, and you get it. Very rarely do you have to wait on a tee time, and it's very you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere when you're playing out there. You know, they've got farmland all around it, and it's really a beautiful place.
And it's produced some outstanding golfers through the years.
You can't beat it.
Isn't it right across from the Walmart distribution center?
Yeah, it sure is, right across the street. And I'm sure a lot of their employees probably play golf there. I want to mention, of course, the golf this past weekend, and I don't think we'll ever see, maybe in the history of golf, two bigger putts than we saw Saturday or Sunday.
Well, that was close earlier this year when Justin Thomas hit about a 60-foot putt where he thought he was going to win a tournament. And then the young kid that won the PGA watches Justin Thomas sink that improbable putt, and then he has one that's 30 feet. You would say he's got about a 5% chance of making that, and he knocks it in.
Exactly right.
Yeah, Colin Maricala. He's a.
I need to remember that name because he's going to be a great one.
What's his name? Oh, that young guy.
Yeah, Colin Maricala.
No, not him. But how about this young golfer this weekend, the 21-year-old?
Rom.
I
know. You're talking about the kid from Chile.
That's Nehan.
Yeah, from Chile.
21 years old. Yeah, he is a young kid.
Boy, he can hit it too. I bet he doesn't weigh 150 pounds soaking wet, and buddy, he can hit it.
Joaquin Nehan.
Yeah.
He doesn't look 21.
All right, Mike, tell us about why this tournament's played at the same golf course in Atlanta every year, and tell us the significance of this weekend's tournament.
Well, I mean, the winner wins $10 million.
$10 million. I reckon that's significant enough. What do you think?
Yeah. You're the FedEx Cup champion. It definitely favors the guy that's the number one player in the FedEx points. So basically, Dustin Johnson will start the tournament at 10 under. Rom will start at 8 under.
All right, with a two-stroke lead. Is that right?
Yeah. Justin Thomas out of Alabama will start at 7 under. I'm not sure he's 4 or 5 to look at that.
Then the worst starts at even, so it's only 30 players in the field, the top 30. Yeah. They all get a guaranteed income, and if you're 30th, you're starting at even. So to win this tournament, you've got to come back from 10 shots down on Dustin Johnson.
Thomas was leading last year. He was number one and was at 10 under to start, but McIlroy, I think McIlroy started at 5 under and came back and beat him.
Yeah. All right, but let me just say this. I'd like to see those top 30 because everybody wins a bunch of money, don't they? I mean, is it $1 million for the last person?
Everybody wins a lot of money. I'll have to look it up, the numbers.
But you remember that putt that the guy made that pulled it out right at the end?
To get in the top. Well, they said what's real important is you get in all 4 majors. There's all kind of perks being in the top 30. It sets up your career. You don't have anything to worry about. Yeah. You're set as a golfer if you make this top 30.
Yeah. Number 30 is Billy Horschel out of Florida.
Mike, of course, they'll do it without anybody in the gallery. Is that right? That's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nobody gonna be able to go to the Masters or the U.S. Open as well. So I tell you what, though, golf. I don't know whoever the commissioner is, but they've done it the right way, and it's been flawless. And golf's better than ever, in my opinion.
Oh, it is. And let me tell you what it is. They move. If you notice, they move ahead real quick. You know, they do
they play their rounds a lot quicker.
Yeah, a lot quicker. And of course, what they'll do, they're ready to show. You know, the guy might hit his drive, but just in a few seconds, he's hitting the second shot. And you're no question about it. You'll see a golf tournament a lot better on television than you will in person.
It's different. The galleries line all the fairways and roughs and greens, and you know, usually a lot of these shots they ricochet off of gallery members, or they hit it in the rough, and the rough isn't so bad because the gallery stomped down all the grass. Now the rough is bad. There's nobody stomping down the grass.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, Bubba, did he made the top 30, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look and see. I'll have to pull it up. You know, I was pulling out West Virginia's football schedule. Of course, we still have a lot of Neil Brown friends and a lot of people in the community.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. I love Neil Brown.
Our friends with that coaching staff, so I wanted to go over their schedule this year as well.
All right, let's do.
They started the season with Eastern Kentucky on the 12th. So the Big 12 will actually play on the 12th. So that's going to be a lot earlier than SC2. And then after that, they play at Oklahoma State. So that's against Gundy.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Neil Brown went 5-7 his first year at West Virginia. Then he's home to Baylor. They have a new coach, Dave Aranda, the great LSU defense coordinator. On the 17th, they play Kansas at home. That's Les Miles and Kansas. They'll be on the road on the 24th at Texas Tech. They'll host Kansas State on October 31st. They'll be at Texas on November the 7th. And they'll be home to TCU on November the 14th. And then home against Oklahoma will be their last game of the season.
Boy, that's a tough schedule.
So how many games are they playing, Michael, total?
They're supposed to be playing one non-conference.
Plus how many conference
games? 10 games.
10, so they're just like everybody else, all right.
That's going to be a tough schedule. So they're just playing 10. Troy's very fortunate. Let me tell you what Brent Jones did to get Troy 12 games and 6 home games. That means 6 weekends of football, which brings in at least $1 million a weekend to our tax base, and our hopefully we'll build some more motels and hotels to house more people in Troy on a football weekend. A lot of these folks stay in Ozark, Dothan. Some people stay over in Luverne, believe it or not, Greenville, and Montgomery. Instead of Troy, because we do not have enough hotel rooms locally. So that bothers me a little bit that we haven't lured some kind of hotel in here.
I wonder if we'll be able to reschedule.
I've got West Virginia going 6-4.
Boy,
that'd be okay.
They finished the year at Iowa State. I left that game out. That'll be a really tough game.
Do we know if we're going to get a makeup game with North Carolina State here in Troy in the future?
I think they're still out there. I think it's still out there. Troy's not letting it run or go away. I know that. And of course, a lot of people might not realize this, but the BYU game is a home and home.
I know it. That's
but
awesome.
Now that's the 25 in year 25, which is
BYU coming to Troy will be one of the biggest games ever in Troy.
No question about it. No question about it. It will be big.
I still can't believe when Mississippi State came with Mullen that year that was not the biggest crowd ever.
Mike,
it was a great crowd.
Well, I'll just say this: it was the biggest debacle maybe in Troy history, where Mississippi State did not. A lot of the fans did not get into the game until the third quarter.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you know what they were doing? They had all the Mississippi State fans out there. They were checking for cowbells in Troy, Alabama. They're checking for cowbells, and it just took forever to get them in the stadium.
It
was one of the worst, but hopefully we learned from it. I think we did learn from it.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was, and of course we probably.
We appreciate. I mean, Mississippi State was mighty generous to agree to come to Troy to play a game.
And we played them.
That game was only a 5-point game.
Yeah.
Well, Troy had the chances to win that ball game. Yeah.
Troy's gone.
Well, Mississippi State had that big quarterback. He was about 6'6". I think his name was Roberts.
Yeah.
A big old physical guy. Troy hit him a lot, but he made some big throws.
Mike, I was looking at Troy's roster, and you can go on GoTroyTrojans.com, and you'll see their roster with the roster with pictures of each player. And Troy, Mike, has got a ton of junior college players. I did not realize how many junior college players they've signed. And a bunch of them, like this. A bunch of them out of Hutchinson, Kansas.
Mm-hmm. You got to have guys that can play right away.
I know, but where do these guys from Hutchinson, Kansas come from? I bet they've got 7 or 8 of them on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got one of them's a linebacker that played at Glenwood Academy.
Yeah.
Played at Hutchinson, Kansas. And then they've got a couple guys from Iowa, Wesley Community College. Yeah, they don't have as many guys from Mississippi junior colleges. You're right.
They've got some, though, but you'll be surprised. Are you looking at it?
I mean, I can pull it up.
I tell you what, it's amazing where a lot of these players come from. And
Michael might also, he's our fact checker.
You got to realize that, I mean, these guys probably were from somewhere in the South. They just chose to play junior college there.
That's right.
Mike, the kid from St. Paul's that's coming to Troy, of course, his daddy's
Roger Schultz.
Roger Schultz.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like Roger. How did we get him? Did he graduate this year, or did he got another year?
This year.
This is senior year.
He's a big old boy. I watched him. He looked pretty. He looked pretty aggressive.
Alabama didn't offer him. You know, I'm sure Roger wanted him to go to Alabama, but you know, Chip Lindsey came in and gave him a scholarship. He's a 3-star recruit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was like a no-star.
Yeah, I watched him, and I would say he's got potential.
How about Bob Baumhauer's son? What do you think about him?
He's
a linebacker too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a walk-on. I mean, he walked on in Alabama, now he's at Troy. I don't know if he's on scholarship or he's a walk-on here as well. I don't know.
We haven't found out either if he's got to sit out this year.
His name's Wes Baumhauer.
Yeah.
But I remember stories about him when he walked on at Alabama, and his high school coach just raved about what a good player he was.
What I cannot believe is when
you want to hear junior colleges.
Give us an idea how many junior college players.
Troy's top receiver, Kalen Geiger, who had 80 catches last year, played at Navarro Junior College. Reggie Todd, transferred from Mississippi State, played at Hines Community College. Let's see.
That's in Mississippi.
Let's see. Bryce Childress, wide receiver, played at Iowa Western Community College.
Yeah, Iowa Western, yeah.
Caleb McClain, who was a great receiver last year, big physical receiver, played quarterback and wide receiver at Tulane and transferred out. Played at Hutchinson Community College. Troy's got a new guy in the secondary named Monty McGarry, played at Iowa Western Community College. Marcus Rogers, this kid originally signed with Georgia Southern. Big physical wide receiver, number 7, 6'3", 200-pound wide receiver. He's from Georgia, but he played at Iowa Western Community College.
Golly, this Iowa Western.
What is that? What is that? 3 from there already?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Then you got the junior college All-American quarterback Parker McNeil, played at Navarro Junior College.
And do you know what the stadium that he played at, or something about the stadium, bared his name, Mike? Was his daddy a big coach or something? Are you looking at his stats? Are you looking at him? He's from. It says he's from the town he's from is what's his last name?
He's from Austin, Texas.
All right, from Austin. And what high school did he go to?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
All right, okay. But right now he's on down the list as far as quarterbacks right now.
You're talking about Texas. My wife has a good friend who was at Lake Martin last weekend, and guess who she bumped into and got a picture with? Greg McElroy. Who's from,
McElroy lives in Birmingham.
He lives in Birmingham, but he was at Lake Martin this past week having fun.
Yeah, Troy Campbell's on at Lake Martin. You could be watching
Well, you know who might be watching us this morning is Brother Oliver, a good friend of your daddy's.
That's right.
Bill Oliver. You know what? Let me tell you, he was a head coach at only one time, I think, and that was at Chattanooga. But that guy was one of the best position coaches in the country.
Secondary coaches.
And let me tell you what impressed me about him. He got in your lap. I mean, he was real enthusiastic. And if you made a big play, he'd go over there and pick you up off the ground. You know, he was a fiery coach and a great recruiter. Bill Oliver, they said, was a great recruiter.
We could. This would take forever. All the junior college guys that originally went to junior college.
I know. Doesn't that surprise you that we have so many?
Well, I mean, you got a kid named Marquise Colvin, who's a safety. He played at Hutchins Community College, but then Jacob Free, the kid that went to Vanderbilt, he transferred to Northwest Community College. So that's just like your top 15 guys I named. There's probably about another.
And for you, Brantley folks.
That's That's like another 80 players to go through. So there's no how many more.
I'll tell you, it's
junior college at some point.
you can hit a home run doing that, or it can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Going all the heavy junior college route, if they turned out to be.
Larry Blaney has to regret his last season. He recruited 20 junior college guys and 3 high school guys.
Yeah, you
And,
need to
one of
split.
those guys was John Johnson out of Charles Henderson.
Yeah, that's right.
He went way too heavy in the
But let me tell you the difference in the quarterback from Brantley, Mike, right now that's running second with the second team. In high school, he was 6'4", 6'5", and he probably didn't weigh any more than 175, 180 pounds. You know what he is now? He's 6'5", weighs 220. I mean, the guy's got bigger and stronger and can throw a football. He is the real deal. He's the real deal.
I always heard he was a good baseball player. Could throw 90 miles an hour.
I know it. I mean, he's just a great athlete. But you know, my favorite all-time quarterback at Brantley High School, you know who that is, don't you?
Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson from right here at
The works for KW Plastic. Yeah, I interviewed him for my Griff story. He's
a great guy, and he was a super athlete at Brantley High School, 3 sports. And you know, I told him, I said, Eddie, we'll play golf one day. I said, Eddie, I don't know how good you are, but you sure are pretty.
I think he's a pretty good golfer, isn't he?
Oh, he's good at anything he plays. He's just a great athlete. But he's my all-time favorite quarterback, along with another guy named Mike Kilcrease, who owns Trojan Auto Parts. Yes, Mike Kilcrease was an outstanding quarterback at Brantley High School. A lot of people don't realize that. We ought to get on there a little bit. Like when you ride by Dickie Calhoun's house, he's probably in there either studying law and one of the great lawyers of all time. But
Studying law?
Hey, let me tell you this.
I don't think he has to study anymore.
Dickie Calhoun, who probably has never even mowed his own yard, might be one of the top 5 athletes in this town.
Still looks like an athlete.
I mean, let me tell you that he was all-state at Lanier High School in Montgomery when it was the greatest program in the country. He was an all-state football player, all-state basketball player, and was a all-state, all-American track star. And he held a state record in the broad jump for something like 10 or 15 years until Richmond Flowers broke it.
You told me that.
This is Dickie Calhoun, who's in Calhoun and Falk downtown. And people say, no way. And of course, he's one of my favorite people and one of my favorite friends.
He would come out there, Rich and I were best friends growing up, and he would come out there in his suit and tie with no shoes on, barefoot. And he would drain every shot on a basketball court. It was unbelievable.
He played on some of Lanier's all-time great teams. And the Scots, you've heard of the Scots that played at Lanier all those years, and of course one of them played at Alabama, was a great player. What was his name? Tight end. What Scott?
Keith?
No, he was a great player on some of Alabama's best teams with Joe Namath and them. But he was best friends with them growing up, and Lanier was the only school for a long time, and then Lee came along, and they had those big rivalries. But anybody. And another thing about Dickie Calhoun, you go to a basketball game with him or a football game with him, and all you hear is Calhoun. There'd be somebody, a bunch of his friends at these ball games, and then Calhoun was just as modest as he could be, and everybody there knew Dickie Calhoun.
He's incredibly modest, but I'm not surprised. I've learned what a great athlete he was.
And he married one of the prettiest girls to ever come out of Dothan, Alabama. She was a Span and a beautiful girl.
His daughters are beautiful.
He went to Emory, and then he went to law school at Alabama.
Yeah, I know. He went to Emory, yeah. Well, his daddy was a Methodist preacher.
Yeah.
Steve said we gotta go.
Yeah. Well, we're having fun, though, Steve. We're having fun. Hope
we're just getting going. We're getting going.
Laid back television at its very best. We were up and down today. We're up and down every day. We were providing information to you. And Mike, we appreciate you from Great Beach today, and of course Bill Rice. And remember, this Friday we open our scoreboard show called the Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks Picks of the Week, brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks right here in Troy. We'll see you again this afternoon if you'll tune in at 1:30. See you tomorrow bright and early. Max
Howell.
Howell is going to be our guest, and we'll talk football.